Hi guys, and welcome back to another Show on the Buffalo video. Hope we've all been well, and today we're going to cover, hopefully, what I believe is to be the best deck in regards to just starting out the game. So this is a video that I want to focus on more for newer players, as where every time we have a set drop, additional players join the game, and now is a good time to join the game because sooner rather than later, I should hope, we'll be coming back out of lockdown, which means more people will want to start new hobbies and such, and the Pokemon TCG is one of those hobbies that I hope a few of you are looking at. So I'm just having a bit of trouble, I think. Yeah, so this deck, it focuses on basically breaking one of the rules of the game. One of the main rules of this game is that the player that goes first can't attack. Whereas with this deck has a particular Pokemon in it, or two should I say, that both have an attack called Fast Raid that allow you to attack if you go first. So basically that produces a scenario where you can effectively donk your opponent. What donking means is that the usual win condition for winning a game of Pokemon would be that you take all of your 6 prizes, knocking out your opponent's Pokemon, more than just one usually. Whereas the whole point of the Donk deck is if they don't get a second Pokemon down and you've opted to go first, then you get to attack. And if that one Pokemon has either low HP or has weakness to either fighting or grass, you're very likely to take that knockout, or even psychic. So this deck, as I'll go a little bit more in depth into it, covers a lot, like 3 areas of weakness as well. Even some of the older cards, like really old ones, are actually weak to Dragon as well. But yeah, that's another story. So this deck for new players, when it comes to competitive card games, as we all know, the most enjoyment that you will get is from when you're winning. And every time that people start this game online without codes and such, it takes a long time to get into it in regards to trying to climb the ladder with the most minimal amount of cards. You have to do the whole trainer challenge and all the rest of it. The trainer challenge is good to get a good grip of the cards that are in the game, but none of the decks that you'll be using in the trainer challenge will be of any competitive level anyway. So effectively it's useless, and you are literally only doing it just for the benefit of getting the free packs and the coins and the tickets and all the rest of it. So once you've gone and completed your train challenge, what I would advise new players to do, or anyone that doesn't have this deck, so this goes for the older players as well, is to go out and purchase themselves 60 codes for Darkness Ablaze online, because it is literally only about 60 codes in total that will build this deck. So I think when it comes to cards like games like this, £15 for a deck that's going to last forever isn't that lot in regards to what is effectively DLC. And the only thing you're mainly paying for in this deck is these cards, Shaming the X, which has the ability set up when you place Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. So because in the rulebook it says you can play as many items as you want per turn, you literally just turbo your way through your deck with all your discard outlets, thinning your hand down, playing cards, every card that you can play. Apart from attaching energies, that's like one of the last things you want to do in this deck. That's why there's only 3 energy in the deck as well. 3 energy is more than enough for this deck, and if you prize all 3, it's just tough. That very rarely happens. But yeah, so the basics are literally just plow your way through with items, and then play a Shaman onto the board, draw 6, play a bunch more items, and then play Scoop Up Net, which put one of your Pokemon that isn't a Pokemon V or GX into your hand, This is probably the most worn out combo of the expanded format at the moment, because you thin all your hand down, and if this is your last card in hand and you've already got a Shaman on the bench, you literally just pick up the Shaman, which is an EX, it's not a GX or a V that's stated on Skill.net, and you get to replace it back down and draw on another 6 cards. Now, I don't know what other card games exist where you can draw this amount of cards in any one turn, other than, I'd say, there used to be in Yu-Gi-Oh! Something called the Avisky Handlock or Deck Loop. I can't remember exactly how it was, but you basically cycle through the entire deck, and then when you put all the cards back into your own deck, you then mill your opponent out. But that's the sort of deck relevance or deck in a game relevance that I know of that relates mostly to this deck. So with Darkness Ablaze having just come round, this part again hopefully will cater some good information to some of the older players that do play the Donk deck. I've made this a kind of turbo drop damage from Zigzagoon sort of build. So as we've now got a new set that's dropped, it's very likely a lot of the time that your opponent will open up with 2 basics, like people have started playing a lot more basics in the deck. So having 4 Zigzagoons, which is 4 damage counters in itself, 4 scoop up nets, which is another 4 damage counters, providing obviously you play the cards with the right sequencing, which is very important with this deck, and another reason why new players I encourage to get the 60 codes and trade into everything that's in this deck, because this is a deck that will help you with sequencing so much. Like, it's just something you automatically pick up from playing this deck and figuring out the best way to play your cards in the right order, the right sequencing to get the most out of your items. So as I was saying, 4 Zigzagoon, 4 scoop up net, and 4 super scoop up as well. Now granted, this one's a flip a coin one, so it doesn't necessarily always work, but the potential is there basically for at least on a 50-50 basis another 2 damage counters. And our our A spec that we play in this deck is Dowser Machine, because it allows you to acquire more items for, say, sometimes you can hit a wall with how many cards you can draw on this deck. Dowser Machine allows you to break through that wall by getting additional discard outlet or getting additional quick ball that was in your bin to quick ball for this quick ball. Oh no, it's not. That's quick ball to quick ball for a Shaman. So discard a card and itself, and then search basic Pokemon. So you just search Shaman. The other reason why this deck is extremely good is because most matches, especially a best of 3, would usually take up to 45 minutes. Now, to win 3 matches, that is about 20 minutes each one on the PTCGO ladder, will earn you 60 points. Whereas most games in this deck, as soon as people know what you're doing, people usually concede. So that's in the first 5 to 10 seconds, and then because you're a one-trick pony deck, you're doing the same to opponents where you know you can't achieve your win condition. So effectively, all your games are over in maximum 5 minutes if they do let you play it out and you do take the win condition Donk knockout. So that means that in 3 games, which will be 15 minutes max of 3 games, that you could earn the same 60 points on the ladder that 3 games would take usually with other decks that take a minimum of, say, 10 minutes minimum, 20 to win in total, especially with like people being slow players as well. This basically negates the ability of your opponent being able to slow play, because obviously you're the one that's doing the one-trick pony. You're the only one playing the game in this instance, and some may see that as toxic, but effectively you're only using this deck to grind this thing, which I will show you now. The PTCGO ladder. So for new players that are new to the game, you basically, the amount of points that you earn, about 15 to 20 per game, and you climb the ladder. It's about 12 games in total for the first ladder. I think it's 20 for the second one, like an additional 20, sorry, and then an additional 30 or another 25, I think it is, to complete the final ladder. But as you can see, there's various rewards like packs, coins that allow you to get packs from the PTCGO shop, and just other tournament tickets as well. So when you do finally build a proper deck, you can go into tournaments and win Darkness Ablaze packs. So anyway, that is everything for the introduction of the video, and I'll try and get in some games and show you what this deck's all about. So see you in a sec. So we're here for the first match, and if we get to go first, I will show you what the one trick pony is all about. And even if not, if my opponent only gets one Pokemon down, then we'll get to show you anyway. So let's choose Tails. And we do not. And I don't think, looking at the deck box, if it's fire or not. If it is fire, it's usually a very difficult one to donk, and they usually do have more than one Pokemon, which makes it even harder. But they've let us go first for whatever reason, unless they timed out. It looks like my opponent's timed out, to be fair, or just logged out, just as I've found them. It's 270 HP. It's going to be really hard to reach for that, but do you know what? There's a will as way. So you always start with acrobatics before searching cards, and that's my opinion. There's 4 Zigzagoons in the deck, and there's scoop up nets to reuse them, whereas there's only an X amount of plus powers. So we will quick ball, get this out of the deck, because this will become handy in the future. Quick ball, get rid of that, to get another one of these. So the first thing you want to check for in this deck is, because the highest damage output you can achieve from one of your attacks is 90. So you either need Marshadow, Diancie and Choice Band, or Pheromosa and Beast Energy and Choice Band. So we have choice. We don't have the Choice Band here either way. Oh yes, we do, right there. And we do have the Beast Energy. So we'll get the Zigzagoon down. Yep. Not going to do that yet. Another Zigzagoon. Yep. So we will get rid of a copy of Bicycle, because we always want to use scoop up nets. Always, always. So we get Marshadow. And we will scoop up net, the Shaman again. We'll play plus power first, sorry. Put the Marshadow down, and put this down. So we have the Diancie to go with the Marshadow. We have this to pick up the Latias, because the Latios even, because that needs to be in the discard pile before Marshadow can use its attack. We get to Viper. This gives us an additional poison counter. Not going to play it down just yet though. We have the Energy. Touch, and we'll get a Quick Ball, because this allows us to get another Shaman. And because we're starting to go low on resources as we're halfway through our deck, and we have Prize the Shaman, we'll be putting the survivor down now to make sure that we can draw our maximum amount of cards from setup. So setup for 6. There's the choice band. There's a plus power. You always check the super scoop ups before using the scoop up net. And I don't know what's happened there, but yeah, I think my opponent had either timed out or conceded, whichever. Because they could see how much damage output I was going to be actually getting through. There is a possibility that it could have reached 270, but it would have been really difficult. Anywho, I will see you here for the next one. Exel Sally. We are going first. Again. We do have an awful opening hand, unfortunately. But we are against Dark, so we can potentially, if the Acrobat can get us anything good, get us exactly what we need. So, yeah, quick ball. There we go. That's all we need to get the game rolling. So I don't know if we'll need this, but well, my opponent's conceded. You know, this is what I mean by it being an easy match. Hopefully, someone will allow me to do the correct procedure to get off the donk. But this is why I'm saying that these games are so short. They're literally less than like 2 minutes max, and your opponent already concedes, and it's just very time efficient and easy way to grind the game. I don't know if anyone's seen the amount of points that I started on when I started this video, but obviously I'm going to be 40 above that now because I'm still winning games. So yeah, so I'm still like 40 more ahead in like the space of 10 minutes or so. Anyway, I'll see you for the next one. This right here is... Oh, what happened to my camera? There we go. This right here is usually the one that is most difficult to beat, because if the deck box is actually matching the deck that it is, this is going to be ADPization. Now, ADP has a ridiculous 240 HP, 280 HP, sorry, that is so hard to KO. It's unreal. But Zacian, however, Zacian can be. But with this, you are forced to take the method of using Marshadow as opposed to Pheromosa for your maximum damage output. So we're going to scoop up the Shaman. We want the Marshadow in the active. We won't be using the Beast Energy, so we'll get rid of that. And unfortunately, our Latios is prize, so we'll just be using Survivor in this instance. It does mean we're going to have to put the Pheromosa in the discard pile, but that is not too hard. The reason you don't use Pheromosa in this matchup is because Zacian has a 30% resistance to it. And we've just drawn like amazingly here. Need to have a look again what's in hand. Yeah, we'll be using all of these cards in hand before Shaman in for 6. So firstly, we're going to use Zigzagoon, drop a damage on him. Sorry. We have the Muscle Band, because Muscle Band gives you 20 against all Pokemon, whereas Choice Band is only against other EX and GXs. So we have an additional damage counter to drop if it lets me click. There we go. And a Shaman complete for 6. So again, this is another hand with another Shaman in it, so sort of just use your things very wisely, your items very wisely. Plus powers you always want to keep wherever you can find them. Another plus power. There we go. And another one. Another plus power. There we go. And then bike for 2. Try and use these bikes as much as you can. Dual Zigzagoon is insane to get off that. Do be very careful about not benching yourself out. I have left 1 space here, and it will be until I get to our last 5 cards in my deck that I'd realistically want to use them. So we've already got the energy attachment. So there's the final plus power. We will scoop up that, get another one of these down, and unfortunately we are gonna, we are gonna have to Ultra Ball this hand away to eventually we want to get another scoop up net. So always keep an eye on your scoop up net counts. I've used 1 so far and 2 super scoop ups. So that's barely any. It seems like I may have prized quite a few because I usually would have seen them by now. But so we grabbed the Giancy, just a thin free one, and here's all the scoop up nets. So firstly, the laser. Always check your flip based things before using the rest of your scoop ups. So here we have this. Yep. Drop a damage. Yep. Yep. Pick that back up. We do have another scoop up net. So we can put it down again. Scoop it up again. Put the Giancy down this time because this is more damage than a single hit from a Zigzagoon. And then we will shame him for 5 again. And I have not played Dazzle Machine yet, and I can't remember if it was prized or not. But hey ho, we shall see. So it's very unlikely we're going to be using any more than 2 of these. So we'll leave that execute in there. We'll Acrobike. Another card that we can play. Whereas you can only play 1 stadium per turn, so I played my stadium for this turn. We have a final scoop up. If this hits heads, I'll be using it to pick up a Shaman. It's very unlikely this one will hit heads. I think I've hit 3 this game already, but the game is being nice. I actually think I should have used the quick ball to find out what cards are left in my deck, but we've used all 4 plus powers. We've got the most amount of damage we can do on the active with the Giancy, so we should be totally fine on just hitting 1 last time with a Zigzagoon. We're gonna let's close that down, sorry. Yep, we will do the last damage. We will have a look at what's actually left in the deck. Yeah, so it was worthwhile not picking up the Shaman. That's the maximum amount of damage we could have got on this. I don't know if it's enough. Missed out by 1, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, we had a Super Scoop Up prized, Dazzle Machine was prized, and some other things, but that shows you how much power is behind this deck, that even with so much prized, even having the Latios prized as well, like if I hadn't prized the Latios, I would have hit the full 220 then, and this is why this deck is built for this format. So we're going to concede here anyway, but that shows the real damage output of this new build and why this version's potentially better. One thing that you might want to take out if you are making your own build is possibly replace the Survivor and the Hypnotoxic Laser for 2 copies of a card called Recycle. But anyway, we will. So choosing tails, and obviously we are going to. Would you like to go first? Well, wait until you see what deck I'm playing. And we open again another god awful hand. but my opponent does mulligan once, and it does look like he's playing a dark deck, so maybe when he sees this Marshadow in the active he may concede. He has no other Pokemon. That is weak to grass anyway, so we will do this. We will hit the Toxic Laser. We will Acrobike. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to grab Trainer's Mail because we need to thin through some cards. It's not looking good. We will get Skyfield. Oh, and our opponent concedes, and although I had nothing, that just shows, like, again, not even a minute for that game. So see you for the next one. There's Umbreon Corn. And we get to decide. Again, always choose first. And this is a beautiful opening hand. We will start with the Marshadow. It can be super scoop upped, so it doesn't really matter. I'd rather save the Zigzagoons for, again, because the way the meta is at the moment, this allows you to hit the most amount of Zigzagoons possible. And we are against Ultimate Necrozma, so our opponent will probably concede when he sees the amount of Zigzagoons that I'm going to put down. Or when I put this here. Yeah. It's just easy games, just easy grinding. We will get a decent one in at some point though. See you for the next. So, one more attempt. Well, we'll make this my final attempt to see if I can get a good game out of this deck. Hello, whoever this is. We will put this in the active. I do not know if I'm going to be able to complete this game anyway, because there is literally nothing going on with this hand. So unless we can top deck either a Shaman or a Quick Ball, or an Ultra Ball, even better. And our opponent is probably playing the same thing, I would expect. So Acrobike, because can't use Super Scoop anyway. We're losing a lot of stuff here. I think it's going to have to be this. And we'll just get rid of these two. Unfortunately, and get ourselves a Shaman. And hopefully our opponent does not concede and allows us to finally get off our win condition. That would be absolutely brilliant. So we have the Pheromosa, we have this. We will Transmail first and get a Bicycle. We're going to keep the Quick Ball in hand, but we will attempt to Super Scoop up on Zigzagoon, because the other Shamans are in deck, so... Oh, well, yeah. So, sequencing, as you can see, is very important, and an opponent that knows you can sequence effectively and efficiently will concede very quickly, because they know where the whole deck is going. Anyway, I'm going to make that the last one for this video, because there's only so many times where your opponent can concede before the video gets boring. I don't want that for you guys. I want the content to be, you know, somewhat creative and helpful and useful. Hence why all the things that I said at the start of the video in regards to the deck itself and in regards to new players and how it can help you get further up the ladder very quickly and help you achieve a lot more wins very quickly as well, and just put your account in a generally good position. It would be more beneficial for you to get 50 to 60 codes, and rather than try and pull the packs, because you'll never pull enough to get a very useful deck, just to build this deck instead. And maybe purchase the training toolkit as well. The training toolkit, I've done a video as well, which is on my YouTube channel somewhere. So feel free to have a look at that. It shows you everything that you get in it, and a lot of the cards that are used in a lot of modern day decks are in that. I know this is a bit of an older deck, but there's still some very useful cards in there as well. So that will just help you for deck building overall as well, especially on this game. It's you'll find out how useful a training toolkit will be to you once you purchase it and start using the cards that you get from it on your online account. So yeah, do give this deck a go. As you will have just seen then, from the start of the video, I think I started on just the high end of the 2200s. I'm now on the 2400, and that's just from like 5-6 games max. And those 5-6 games max, separate to the 10-minute intro of the deck, talking about the deck and stuff like that. So all the time after that is such a short amount of time, and yet I've gained over 200 points on the ladder, which is more than it takes, well, just under near enough the first whole section of the ladder, and shows you how useful it is. So once again, if you enjoyed the video, drop it a like. It'd be very helpful. It'd be very helpful if you subscribed as well. I do encourage everyone, both new and older players, to play this deck. If you don't have a lot of time, if you've got a busy job, a busy lifestyle, busy schedule, whatever the case may be, things going on in your life, but you want to find a deck that is very time efficient to grind you up the ladder, play this. In the meantime, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Have a good day and peace. See you soon, guys.